So the rest of 3.7, we're going to take those determinants that we practiced last night, and we're going to use them to solve for x, y, and z when we have missing variables. Okay, so let me fast forward this, past this stuff we did yesterday. Okay, determinant and Kramer's rule. This is where we're picking up today. Okay, and we won't do any bigger than a 3 by 3, meaning we won't solve anything bigger than x, y, and z equations, okay? You can use determinants to solve systems of linear equations, and it's called Kramer's rule, okay? It's named after the Swiss mathematician that came up with it. It's where you use the coefficient matrix of the linear system. So if you have a linear system, ax plus by equals e, cx plus dy equals f. You use the coefficients, the leading coefficients, to set up your matrices, okay? So you start with A, B, C, D to set up your matrix, okay? And you have to solve your system by substituting things in and out, depending on what we're solving for. If we're solving for x, we're going to substitute our x's out with the answers. If we're solving for y, we're going to substitute our y's out with the answers. So you let A be the coefficient matrix of the linear system, A, B, C, D. And then if you're finding the determinant of A, number one, it cannot be 0. Your determinant cannot be 0, okay? The system has exactly one solution. So you use your coefficient matrix to find the determinant. You do your determinant, okay? Then once we get the determinant, we replace, if we're solving for x, we take the x's out. Do you notice how we took out the A and C here? And we substitute them in with our answers, E and F. And you do your determinant like you would. You would multiply like this, multiply like that, subtract them, and then you divide by the original determinant. That gives you your x point. And you do the same thing for y and the same thing for z, okay? I'm going to show you with actual numbers because I think it's easier that way. So we have 9x plus 4y equals -6, and we have 3x minus 5y equals -21. So the first thing we have to do is find the determinant of A, okay? How would I set up the determinant for this? What would I set up? 9, 4, 3, and -5. Okay, because the sign is going to go with it. Now I simply solve the determinant. What's 9 times -5? Okay, minus what's 3 times 4? 12. So what's -45 and -12 together? -57. That is my determinant, okay? Now, if I want to solve for x, let's say we want to solve for x. X is going to equal the determinant of the equation we're going to make now over your determinant of A, which is -57. Okay? What goes in place of the 9 and 3? -6 and -21. When you're solving for x, there's no longer the x values there. Okay? The 4 and -5 stay. Your y's stay the same. They stay where you want them. Okay? Now, we do determinant here. What is -6 times -5? 30. Minus, what is -21 times 4? Negative what? 84, yes. Okay? Over -57, right? What is 30 plus 84? 124 over -57. And what does that divide out to? It should come out 8. Wait, maybe it's not 124. 8, 9, 10, 11. It's 114. What's 114 divided by -57? Yep, -2. So my answer for x equals -2. I didn't have to do substitution. I didn't have to do elimination. Okay? Now, let's say we wanna solve for y. How do we set that up on top? It's always all over your determinant. What goes in these two columns here? And the first two, or what goes in this first column here? Yep, you keep your x's, so 9 and 3. And what goes over here where the y's were? If I'm solving for y, I replace it with -6 and -21 with the answers. Now, I do the determinant. What's 9 times -21? What's 9 times -21?
9. -189.
What, -189. Minus, what is 3 times -6? -18, all over -57. What is -189 plus 18? -1 what?
71.
Over -57? And what do you end up getting? +3. So your solution to this equation is -2, 3. Another way to solve, personally, I think once you get, what is what for?
It's minus a -18, and then if you have two negatives, you end up
Yeah.
adding together.
Yeah, it was a double negative, so I changed it to a positive. So this might be a quicker method to solve than substitution and elimination. Okay, if you get the pattern, the pattern down right with determinants, then it makes it much easier. Now listen, that was a 2 by 2, so 2 by 2s are much simpler. What happens when I have a 3 by 3?
We die.
It's not that they're harder, it's just, it's gonna take more brain power, because we're doing the determinant with a 3 by 3, so you've gotta add the extra rows on the side and cross and all that stuff. Okay, so let's try something like this. I'm gonna tell you that this is a 3 by 3 and we have to set it up. It says the atomic weight of 3 compounds are shown. Use a linear system and Kramer's rule to find the atomic weights of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, okay? And they give you the compound, the formula, and the atomic weight. How can I set up 3 equations to solve? What are the 3 equations I could set up? Look at the formulas. Yeah. So the first equation for glucose I have is 6C plus 12H, right? Plus 6, is it 6? Yeah. Oxygen equals 180, correct? I don't know how to make that look more like a, make it cursive so we know it's not a 0. Okay. How do I set up my second equation then? C plus 2 oxygen, right? Equals 44. And what would be my third equation then? 2H plus 2O equals 34. Now, I need to change this into a matrix so that I can find the determinant, and then I can solve for C, H, and O using determinant matrices. Okay, question for you. If I'm setting this up, how do I set it up to find the determinant of A to start with? How do I set it up?
6,
Yep,
12,
and 6, and then what's down here?
1,
What happens if you have nothing?
0,
Good, 0,
0,
and then 0, 2, and 2. And now, if I'm doing the determinant of this one, remember I copied the 2 columns, 6, 12, 1, 0, 0, 2, okay? And then I simply go diagonal, right? What's 6 times 0 times 2? 6 times 0.
Oh, 0.
There you go. Good.
0.
12 times 2 times 0. And 6 times 1 times 2. minus 0 times 0 times 6, 0, plus 2 times 2 times 6. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 6 is, plus 2 times 1 times 12.
They do much.
So you get 12 minus 48, right? So you get negative 36? Okay, so my determinant is negative 36. Now, let's just solve for C first. What do you say? Okay, I think that's easiest if I just solve for C first. So let's go ahead and say, we want to solve for carbon. Carbon equals whatever over negative 36, right? Okay, so if it's the first column, what do I have to do with that first column? Replace it with the answers. So 180 goes here, 44 goes here, and 34 goes here. Then I just keep the same numbers that were already. 12, 6, 0, 2, 2, 2. Rewrite them over here, 180, 12, 44, 0, 34, and 2. Okay? What's 180 times 0 times 2? 180 times 0 times 2. 0. Plus, what's 12 times 2 times 34? 12 times 2 is, and then 24 times 34 is 8, 16. Plus, what's 6 times 44 times 2? So 88 times 6, right? 528. And then you're subtracting from there, and we're going this way. 34 times 0 times 6. And 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 1, 80. 720. And 2 times 44 times 12, so 88 times 12, right? 1056. And this is all over top of negative 36, okay? So then we add these together. What's 816 and 528 together? 1344 minus what's 720 and 1056 together? 1776 over negative 36. You okay over there, Al?
She's crying.
So you get negative 432 over negative 36, which gives you 12. So carbon equals 12. Okay, now let's talk about solving for hydrogen. Hydrogen equals, okay? And you keep the first spot this time, so 610, right? And then hydrogen gets replaced with the answers, 180, 44, 34. And then you have 6, 2, and 2 again, right? And then you go 6, 180, 144, 0, 34. And it's all over top of negative 36. Bless you. Okay, so now we have to go and do this again. 6 times 44 times 2. So 6 times 2 is 12, and 12 times 44 is 528. Plus 180 times 2 times 0. We like those ones. 0. Plus 6 times 1 times 34. So 6 times 34 is 204. Subtract from it. 0 times 44 times 6, so 0. 34 times 2 times 6, so 12 times 34, which gives me 408. And 2 times 1 times 180, so 2 times 180, which gives me 360. And it's all over negative 36. So 528 plus 204 is 732 minus 408 plus 360, which gives you 768 all over negative 36. 732 minus 768 is negative 36, so you have negative 36 over negative 36, which gives you 1. So, your hydrogen is 1. Now, last but not least, oxygen. Now, what could I technically do now that I have 2 of these? Elle's like, please, dear God. So I could just plug this in, especially since this equation only has hydrogen and oxygen in it, yes? I could say 2 times 1, right? Plus 2 oxygen equals 34. And so you would just get 2 oxygen equals 32, right? Divide by 2 and oxygen equals what? What's 32 divided by,
That's 2,
what is 32 divided by 2? 16. And now I have my solution. I have 12 carbon, 1 hydrogen, 16 oxygen. Okay, so once you do 2, you don't necessarily have to do the third, you can plug it back in. But you have to do 2. Okay, so it can save you some time. But once again, I think this is less error here when you do it this way than when you do a substitution and elimination. Okay? So, I think that is the end. Yes, it is. That is the end of what we're doing today. I will give you homework on this, and then Monday we will do 3.8, and Tuesday we will review, and you will have a test Wednesday over chapter 3.